About a year after I was ordained, a man walked up to me in a parking lot. He was slight of build. His clothes were clean, but it was clear it had been a while since he could afford new ones. He hadn't shaved in a couple of days. He wasn't threatening in any way, but I confess I wondered what he could possibly want from me. He said, "I know you, but I'm sure you don't remember me." A bit embarrassed, I confess I'm sorry, I don't remember. How do we know each other? And he proceeded to tell me his story. He said, "I'm a 65-year-old gay man. I haven't spoken to anyone in my family for over 30 years. I've tried so many times, but they just don't want to have anything to do with me. Most of my friends have moved away or they've died. I'm too old and sick to work, and last Christmas Eve, I got so lonely that I gave up and decided I was just going to end it all. But before I did, I decided to take a walk. I really don't know how I ended up where I did that night because I don't live anywhere near there, but there I was. It was dark in the neighborhood and so cold, my fingers and toes ached and I couldn't stop shivering. It was so cold I thought I might just freeze to death right there. But then I looked up and I saw this tiny little church with its lights on. There was clearly a Christmas Eve service going on, and I hadn't been to church in such a long time. Churches don't seem to like people like me very much. But I was so cold, and I thought maybe I could slip in the door and nobody would notice me while I warmed up. So I crept in the back door as quietly as I could. I found a seat on the back row, and I looked up, and you were preaching. After you finished, another preacher got up and said, "May the peace of the Lord be always with you." And all of a sudden, everybody in the room stood up and started hugging on each other and shaking hands and laughing and wishing everybody a Merry Christmas. And to be honest, I'd never seen anything like that in a church. And then someone noticed me. And she came up and she took my hand and she said, "Merry Christmas. My name is Ann. Who are you?" And I told her my name, and then she told me she was so glad I was there and she hoped I would come back. And then before I knew it, she introduced me to somebody, and then she introduced me to another and another and another. And before I knew it, I thought, I'm sure I had met every person in that little church that night. And every one of them told me they were glad I was there and hoped I would come back. And every one of them wished me a Merry Christmas. And for the first time in a long time, I felt like maybe, just maybe, it might be possible that somebody could actually love me. And he said, "I'm here today because the folks in that little Episcopal church in East Knoxville who gave me so much hope." So when I saw you today, I wanted to come and introduce myself again and say thank you.
Like and subscribe to experience more heartwarming stories. Discover the magic of how making one life better can bring light and joy to your own.